Live, YouTube, Twitch, Periscope. Hello everybody, we're not recording on Anchor, so if you want to listen to the audio version of this live stream, we're going to have Joe Anderson's going to post the audio version for you to download in a response to the Periscope tweet version of this live stream. We're just waiting for people to come in. Waiting for people to...
How was your day?
My day was good. I mostly cleaned today. I cleaned and I did laundry and stuff.
Okay, that's way more boring than our topic, which is, what's our topic again today?
Our topic is our two-party system fundamentally flawed?
Gotcha. And Pardes, you have the normal perspective on this, right? Everybody,
Everybody thinks
everybody in America is like, oh, two-party system's broken, it sucks.
Yeah.
Isn't that true? Doesn't
Hey everybody. Doesn't everybody think that our political system is flawed? I mean...
No, that our two-party system is flawed.
That our two-party...
Everybody loves to rip on the two-party system and be like, oh,
yeah,
Parliament's better.
Think about it like this. There are people in the Republican Party who agree fundamentally with people in the Democratic Party more on something. Like, isn't it crazy that everybody has to believe a set of a set of beliefs that might not necessarily even have any sort of connection, but just because it's part of one...
I mean, who says you have to believe all the set of beliefs? Nobody said that. It's just you have to vote for one or the other.
Well, it's like...
You're just choosing the best of the two options.
Yeah, but like, what if I really, really care about, like, what if I really don't, like, people who really, really, really don't want to invest in the military, but then they also still want border walls, or people who really don't want to, who are socially conservative.
Yeah, so I see what you're saying. You want, like, more of an a la carte voting system where you can, like, kind of choose, like, oh, I want a little bit of this and a little bit of that. So, like, this, Green Party candidate or this no-war candidate is more appealing to me.
Yeah,
like
just
a parliamentary
like
system.
More like...
So, like, a federal election, but where you can choose amongst... So, like, a Congress, but it's federally elected, is what you're saying. Because you can't just, like, go and vote for Bernie Sanders if you like Bernie Sanders, because unless you live in Vermont.
Right.
Right? So... What you're saying is you want a system where you can have a body politic that you can just, like, vote on, kind of.
Okay.
Is that what you're saying? I'm just trying to, like, imagine what that would look like in reality. Yeah,
just, like, more specific. Like, not more, like, more of, like, a variety instead of, like, just more dominant parties. So instead of it just being the Republican Party and Democratic Party, we'd have I don't know, I don't even know how to call it, but just we'd have, like, the populist right, we'd have, like, the socialist.
So how many parties in your ideal, like, government that you're making up, how many parties are there?
Maybe, like...
30, 300?
No, like, 5.
5. So 5 instead of 2. I don't think that works, because I think, like, the way that our brain works, it's, like, left and right. And the way that good and evil work, the way that our understanding of the world is mapped out is no, I think the way that our world is mapped out in our minds and the way that we just, like, rationalize what's coming in is bifurcated. It's dualism. It's good and evil. It's chaos and order, right? So I think the two-party system actually, the fact that it changes over the course of American history, I mean, you could argue how many times the parties have flipped, but some people say every 80 years about. But obviously, we've seen, the Democratic Party today isn't what it was in 1860. That's for sure. We can at least agree on that. Okay. So the two-party system does fluctuate, and it does meet the needs of its constituents in some way, shape, or form, just by virtue of the fact that it changes.
So
right?
Do you feel like our parties are more divided than they used to be? First of all, do you feel like the Republican Democratic parties are more polarized than they used to be? And also, do you feel like within the parties, there's more of, like, interfighting than there used to be?
What do you mean used to be? Like, in modern American history? Like
maybe, like, 8 years ago or 10 years ago.
Yeah. I mean, I think so.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And
I think if you look back to 1970, perhaps, like, the way that Richard Nixon was viewed was probably similar to the way that Trump is viewed by, you know, like the people who are protesting the war in Vietnam, et cetera, right? Like, I don't think it was more polarized now than it was then necessarily. And secondarily, we're not, you know, we're not in the midst of, like, however many people were dead by 1970 in Vietnam, you know, whatever it was, 40,000 by then, I don't know. Don't quote me on that.
Okay,
But
don't quote
Richie. It was like 50
on that.
to something thousand
Richie
total,
has
so
very controversial ideas.
No, I don't actually. My controversial ideas. I have a confession. I don't know. I shouldn't say this.
Yeah, no, say it. We all want to know, right? Everybody, you want to know what Richie's confessions?
No, they don't want to know.
Hey, Daniel! I noticed you. I love you, Daniel. Daniel, I know you exist, and I love you so much. I'm sending you a huge hug.
What do they think about the two-party system?
Okay, so
my confession, it's I voted for Barack Obama twice, and it's not that that's a bad thing. It's just that it's a confession now, given, I think, just the way that our country has become polarized since his election. I think that's really partially what initiated it, and now, like, I feel like you're either on one side or the other. And so if I even just say that, especially, I don't know, I'm not going to speculate as to who follows Pardes, but I'm guessing,
well, actually, we're going to have a lot of Groyper accounts here today.
Okay.
So welcome to our live stream. They're going to be giving us a lot of beautiful attention tonight, and we're very excited for that. Welcome. And but we've got a mix of people normally, and normally actually our YouTube crowd, which is the people you're seeing a lot in the comments.
Oh, it's all combined. You can see which icon. Okay.
Yeah, our YouTube crowd is actually our most. They are our nuclear family. And Periscope is more of like a mix of people, and then
I got you.
Twitch are all like the outcast people, right? I'm kidding, because there isn't a lot of people on Twitch. So, can you read?
We got to get back on topic, I think.
Yeah, so speaking of
yeah, see, Democrat up until 26. So yeah, I mean, I think that gets back to the point that we were getting to, which actually, this is also going to circle back, because I think that we're in the midst of a two-party system shift. So in the same way that the Democratic Party became the party of unions, the party of the working class, the party of, you know, men and women who worked with their hands and who earned an honest living. I think that's being flipped right now. Obviously, that's like no news to anybody out there. If you're watching your show, they probably know that. But the question is like, number one, why? And number two, like, where does it go from here? So, I think that's a much more difficult question. Why is the first one.
Okay.
So that's, I mean, economics, obviously, right? But I think what's beneath that is culture, right? What's beneath that is culture. I don't think it's economic. I think that's just a catalyst, right?
Okay. So,
sorry, I interrupted you.
No. I wasn't going to say anything smart or anything. But, so what was the thing that you...
Who cares? That's not the point. It's not the point of this, right? It's...
Yeah. Like, what's the point of being smart?
We're just thinking out loud.
Which smart person was happy in life? You know?
Yeah, what's that book where the dad wishes that his daughter was dumb and beautiful? What was that book? I want to say Mrs. Dalloway, but I don't think it's what it was.
Okay,
sorry,
wait.
Guys.
So you mentioned culture being the reason.
Yes. Yeah. Well, you know the dude who said that politics was downstream of culture.
Politics
Folks out there,
downstream of culture.
They're all gonna say
Ronald Reagan.
It rhymes with Schmandrew Schmeitbart.
And
I'm sure that there are people out there. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, politics is downstream culture. So what is shifting in our politics?
So I think that Donald Trump and what he's able to do with Twitter and bypassing the traditional institutions of media that provide us with, you know, information about what's going on every day. I think he was able to just like accelerate things because of where technology is and how he utilized that. and because of his savviness with just like picking up on, cultural battles that in the culture, quote unquote culture war that he can win, right? And so, I think whereas, it might have been 20 years before we had some kind of Republican who was more populist and represented more of the working class and less of the, we can all argue about what Donald Trump actually represents, but.
Do you feel like Donald Trump, would you compare him to Ronald Reagan in a lot of ways?
Yeah, and I think that also the similarities between Trump and Reagan culturally.
Because Reagan was when he ran, he was the same exact attacks. He got,
same themes.
The same themes, like, he was loved by such a random mix of people, like a wide range of people, and he was considered very controversial in his time. And when, to the point where you look back and it's like, wasn't that controversial. But yeah, he was also like a...
Yeah, history has a way of also, that's a good point, because at the time, Reagan might have seen... neither of us were alive.
And people saw him as an outsider. Is that another reason?
I was born in the 80s, though. Yeah, and
Richie is old.
Yep. The hangovers get worse.
When's your birthday? I'm kidding, by the way.
29.
Richie thinks he's old. That's why I'm playing on that insecurity.
I'm not actually old.
Okay.
I'm not insecure about it. I will be one day, though. If and when my hair turns gray.
No, it's fine. You're fine. Okay, continue.
Yeah, okay, continue. So I do think that the Reagan point is a very good point, because I think what happened in American culture is, if you think about what happened, we mentioned with Nixon previously, like that's what conservatism was in 1970.
Yeah.
But there's a reason why like Clint Eastwood was such a famous movie actor at the time that he was, in the mid to late 70s to 80s, right? It's because he represented this return back to the traditional male and the traditional, idea of what that male should be, right? And he's just a tough guy and he didn't have money. In any event, Reagan was like the presidential manifestation of that.
Yeah.
And that was, basically, you could argue, the peak of Clint Eastwood's career. Like 30, I don't know. All those movies are mid to late 70s. All those most popular.
It
Good,
did
the Bad,
come
and the
back
Ugly
a
was
little
earlier,
bit, right?
But
it did come back a little bit what's that movie that came out and it was like so controversial and it was like a D-Day movie. What was it called? You know what I'm talking about?
With Clint Eastwood?
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's ask the
it was like
ask
a
the audience
revival.
here.
It was like a revival of that. What you're talking about.
Yeah, and Dirty Harry too. He's like the revival of like that cop who's just like maybe he gets his elbows
sort of
dirty
like
every once in a while.
patriotic, sort of like the.
Yeah, more like the archetypal, male figure, and like whereas like the understanding of that archetypal male figure, according to like the participants at Woodstock in 1969, like that, they definitely had a different view of what the ideal male was, right?
Yeah.
In the same way that like the people at an Antifa rally would have probably a different view of what the ideal male is than somebody who voted for Donald Trump, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So, I don't know, I think that, and it's funny, I don't know if you guys have seen that Quentin Tarantino movie that just came out, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I feel like his commentary on Hollywood was very much exactly what we're talking about. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Oh, it's called Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah, did you see it?
No, I don't think I saw it. Maybe I should watch it. Maybe I did.
See what people are saying. We haven't even really interacted
do you
here.
have your phone
We're
on
supposed
you?
to interact. Yeah, I'll do. Hold on, we'll do it this way. Yeah.
Someone's posting that thing. I'm wondering if they're sending.
Hold on, I have to go off screen when I type in my code because I know how that goes. Okay, so wait.
Okay,
your YouTube is the best. Oh yeah, here you go. Here you are.
All right.
Whoa, the delay. Okay.
We got a down
We have like
like.
a 6 second delay. We have one down like and nothing else.
You have to.
What the? I'm gonna up like it. There we go.
Can you tell?
We're 1-1 now. 50% is not good. We need.
Everyone who's on YouTube, up like.
Yeah, seriously.
Up like.
All these people commenting
It's
and no one's even
probably-
like upvoting.
it's probably
Maybe people. I know what it is. No
It's-
one likes my face. That's what it is. I told you this is a bad idea.
Oh, someone is saying Richie seems like a smart guy. Wow. Thank you on behalf of Richie.
I hit my head a bunch of times, so joke's on you.
So bizarre to see someone pro meme culture on stream.
Pro meme culture. Are you pro meme culture? Pro meme culture.
I'm pro.
Yeah. Oh, pro meme culture, like they're talking about like memes in the not in like the modern sense, but in like the sense of like archetypes. I think like a meme being an idea. Like meme was a word before.
Oh,
there
before
were
it became like an internet
memes.
word.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think they're talking about the old definition, which
interesting.
I think that, you know, if there's anything that like just general, I think the global population is moving towards. I'm not going to talk like Republican or Democrat.
We're saying pre-meme culture.
Pre-meme culture. Oh, pre-meme culture. Huh. Well, okay. Yeah. But I think we're moving back towards, look what everyone's doing with their diets. Everyone's doing like the all meat, or they're doing like the paleo, or they're selective, you know, intermittent fasting, right? All this shit is like going back to like what hunter-gatherers did. It's like even just our diets are going back in that direction. Yeah. So, I don't know.
Can you text your roommates to see if they open the door?
Oh yeah, I'll call them right now. So people are basically saying they're drinking raw milk. The left can't meme. Premature baby squad represent. He was gonna take a huge bong rip. No comment, but.
Okay, text your roommate.
Jordan Peterson's daughter eats nothing but beef. That's a great point.
That's Jordan Peterson's daughter.
And I think that a lot of what we're talking about is stuff that he obviously taps into, and there's a reason why he's popular.
There's a name for it. It's called the lion. She calls it the lion diet, right? The lion.
Yeah.
The lion.
The meme diet. Someone says. Oh, there's a lot of people talking about it. Yeah, lion diet. They say lion diet.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I think that's a good point, and I eat a lot of McDonald's, but I do intermittent fast, so I'll go like 24 hours or 48 hours or just.
And see, look, Richie's very fit, so it's working.
You know, I'm working on it. I am, like you said, an old man, so it's. I did get. There's another confession. My body fat percentage. Got it the other day. Joined the gym. I want to see what the people think here, because it's definitely, No, I'm not gonna say it live. It's so douchey. I'm not gonna do it.
Wait, can you text your roommate?
Yeah, I prefer the lion diet from the '80s. He's saying he does cocaine. That's funny.
I would not have gotten that, so it's good that you.
Keto and fasting. Oh, Hookstead texted. Oh, there you go. Good man. All these people out there follow David Hookstead. He's a good man.
Okay, and also text your.
Oh yeah, man.
So Richie's about to tell us his body fat count.
It's so they said the other day it's 9.9. No joke. 9.9. So that's single digits, right? Wow. Is that single digits?
Yeah.
I think this thing was off though, and I hadn't eaten in like probably a day, so I think that really skewed the results. But even still, it's just funny that that's what the readout said. And I think that's largely a byproduct of McDonald's.
Are you texting your roommate?
He said, okay, yeah. No one showed up to our party. There's no one down there you can hear. There's no one there.
In the outside, in front of the door?
Yeah, you can't see from here?
Just because someone was commenting. Someone texted me?
I think so.
Just because somebody was commenting in the Halloween post?
This show has gone off the rails because we combined two things together.
Someone's saying get groiped. What does that mean?
Get what?
Someone sent a super chat. We got a groiper sent a super chat.
Get groiped? What does that mean? $2. Does that mean?
Thank you so much. See, the groipers are really nice to me.
What is groiper?
You don't know what a groiper is?
No.
A groiper is a very, very nice. Very, very nice person.
For 20%.
For 20%.
I think we're like 10 seconds at least delayed. Well, we've gone way off the rails here.
Why?
Because we're not even talking about
Yeah. We're gonna talk about two-party system. Yes, we're gonna talk about two-party system. So the culture is shifting, and that's causing the two-party system to be split. And it was, so we're going back to the 80s, right?
I think it's more just, I don't think it's the two-party system is like splitting. I think it's more just like the pains of that change taking place.
Okay.
Like Yeah. Like if you if you want to change something in yourself, you have to recognize that something's wrong.
Right.
It's a very hard thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Just generally, like, so I think the same goes for, like, groups of people and, like, being a party. Like, you have to admit if you're going to change your platform, you have to admit that something about your previous platform was wrong, right?
What do you see as flawed in our culture?
Flawed in our culture?
Yeah.
I don't necessarily. I think like American culture is like a living thing, and so I wouldn't say that like. I would say that at this particular moment in America, something that's flawed. I think there's a lot of things. The media is paying attention to a lot of things that are flawed, but I think that the problem is they're not paying attention to the things that a lot of Americans think are flawed. That's what I think is flawed. Is that there's a detachment between
the
people
media.
the institutions that surround Washington, D.C. being...
And academia.
Media.
It's the media, academia, government officials.
Yeah. I mean, I think just generally speaking, the term would be elite. Like
elites.
And obviously there's all kinds of economic
and
indicators.
Big tech.
And big tech, yeah, that's a great example because those are people who are supposedly progressive, and yet they're all freaking rich. And they're all living in their bubble in Menlo Park, and they all have their buddies lobbying in D.C. and New York, and so like and everybody in the media represents them. So it's cushy, right? Like Jeff Bezos, for example. I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, did I just say that name out loud? Sorry, I didn't. I apologize to the almighty Amazon because it's just not.
He's the overlord, right? He's the overlord of all of us.
Well,
Jeff Bezos.
Yeah. Or YouTube. I mean, talk about, big tech or Facebook. But the only point being that they should all be responsive, and they're not.
Yeah.
They should be responsive to the rest of America. They
should be. If they have this much control, they have this much. And it's like, people are like, oh, well, we banned this person from Twitter or this person from the internet or we kicked out this person. Go find your own go make your own internet. Go find your own thing.
Exactly.
And it's like, no, but these people are controlling our entire lives. We're all owned by Amazon. You need, like, for my jobs in the past, you need to have a Twitter account in order to do your job. You need a Gmail account. You need PayPal. You need, like, these things because you're so dependent on them. Yeah. They practically own you. They're, like, basically governments in their own rights. So for them to say, well, go find your own internet. Go find your own thing. For them to just knock all these people out.
Well, so I think you're right? But there's always going to be some overarching government, companies, etc., that are going to govern your behavior. They're going to say, don't kill people, right?
Did they say yes? Did they say yes?
They said no.
No?
He said, hell no. he said, what? Yeah, no.
Okay.
So.
Because I saw that.
Yeah, nothing yet.
Can you check in the Facebook thing?
Yeah, sure.
People were commenting, like, I don't know.
Don't say the F word out loud. The only point being that there's always going to be, like, a smaller group of people controlling your behavior, right? And the question is are those people beholden to all of you voting on what it should be? So big tech is in bed with our big government right now. And so a lot of what we're seeing in our politics is a response to that. And so people say democracy dies in darkness. But it's like, I'm pretty sure that the populace is just responding to what they perceive to be a threat to their sovereignty, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm not saying that they shouldn't say what the rules are. Like, there's always going to be YouTube or cable news or the radio, these purveyors of information, right? But it's a question of whether or not they're beholden to us. And how do we do that? We vote people into office and they say, F you, we're going to, break your monopoly up, or we're going to whatever.
Like, we vote people into office, and there does seem to be this central pressure within our politicians to go with a certain, in order to rise up in whatever they're doing, they need to win the favor of like a group.
Yeah.
So, like, they will have certain ideas. They will be for their constituents until they get into office, and now they have to play a different game. And not necessarily are they going to end up voting on behalf of their constituents. And we've seen a lot of cases like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a question of how you set up the system such that they have to. And like you were saying earlier, you think that there should be, instead of a two-party system, like a federal kind of parliamentary election.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if that fixes the problem that we're talking about, though, because, like, is a, even still, even if those groups, right, are all, whatever, 5 you said, or 10, or whatever, 20, they still need to form a majority to make a vote. Like, so I guess the question is how, like, are those people represented? Like, I think geography is a good way of doing it. The constituents of your district should, you should be beholden to them. Not just some kind of like, oh, I got elected to the No War Party and I'm from Topeka, Kansas, but, I represent the entire country.
Yeah.
I think there needs to be, like, some kind of geographic representation.
Right, yeah, that makes sense.
Right, guys? What do you think?
Okay, maybe someone is saying, you got a critic, someone is saying, this guy doesn't realize that there are more people getters by old than there are young people.
Okay. Here, let me look at
That's in Periscope.
More people
Can you
getters?
check on Facebook real quick before you go in there? Can you just check on Facebook?
Oh yeah, true.
Yes.
On the way. Oh, you got to figure this out. Here, there you go. I'm gonna talk to these people while you figure that out.
Okay.
New tech is being good. Makes no sense. Whoops. Fuck. I think Pardes must have lost a bet here. What does that mean? Like, they're saying... We need a constitutional amendment ensuring the right to gyro pee. This guy doesn't realize there are more... Why does that comment keep fucking... Nice stash, yeah! I've been growing this baby for, I don't want to say how long. I guess I got another confession. A year and 13 days.
So you know how there's like
a year and
plaque
16
right before
days.
you go inside the driveway? What
October
does it
15th.
say again?
1626. Oh, shouldn't have said that out loud. I mean, you guys don't know where we're at. Don't worry about it. I already got doxxed once by these crazy group of people, so it doesn't matter, actually.
What does the plaque say, like, that they should see it?
Here, let me just write it in here.
Okay.
Off camera.
Oh my god! Okay.
It's so funny how this works.
We're live. Live from New York.
It's Saturday night.
So can I tell them about your mom?
No! This is such a bad idea to do this right.
Oh my god!
What?
Look.
Oh, it's a bug.
Oh my god.
That's okay.
So can you post in the face? Can you put in here? Let me see.
It already has that on the whatever. Happy Festiving, he says.
We're still live. Isn't this great? Isn't this app great?
Yeah. Put them in our honor.
We're live. We're live.
Yeah, I am the video director for a news website that I won't name because it's polarizing, just like everything else in this country at this particular moment.
Richie is a secret agent.
Yeah, I work for the CIA.
Okay, so you got. So people always accuse me of working for the CIA.
Yeah, I mean
Isn't that crazy?
I think that's kind of what we were talking about earlier, though.
There is a part of the populist movement that there's like a culture of people where anytime they are suspicious of you in any way, they think you're working for the CIA. They're like, oh.
Well, I think that's exactly what we were talking about, which is that there's a small group of people, be it the business elites, the governmental,
right.
embodied by the CIA. The CIA is just a representation of that extra judicial
right.
part of the government that's
So
not
people-
beholden to the electorate. So they just assume that anybody who's not, like, you know, doesn't meet their idea of, like, you know, whatever they think it should be. They just say, you're the CIA or you're,
So
you know.
it's like a distrust because they feel, because they're so, because the people are so left out from what the establishment is doing. They're so left out and they're feeling so alienated that there's just this growing distrust, and the more distrust there is, the more they will lash out. The more they do that, the more the elites will be like, no, you have to stay there.
Yeah, that's true. And I mean, I think
You bigot, you have to stay there. Stay in your corner.
whatever the tactic is, there's a variety of tactics that are used. But the problem, I mean, I think what's the scariest part is that if you talk about this small group of people, right, and how they control all of how information is diffused and how, you know, our government is run and everything that governs our lives, then, like, to see the way that the, you know, even just like a lot of my friends, a lot of my, you know, people who you think would be free thinking individuals just spit out these talking points, like, and it's like, dude, I watched like 6 hours of CNN a day. I heard that on New Day. With Allison Campbell, you know, like I heard that on Wolf Blitzer today, and you're just repeating it, like, so why don't you just like
fear?
It's
fear.